So the first question would be, what is normal aging in terms of cognition? And I'll start first by saying what we mean by cognition. We mean thinking abilities. So examples of thinking abilities are memory, orientation to where you are, orientation to time. So for example, what time it is, what the calendar time is, how much time has passed and what you're doing. Also things like concentration, or the use of language, the ability to speak and be understood, the ability to understand what people are saying to you. So all of these things and others we call cognition. And as people age, it is not unusual for there to be some degree of declines, very small declines, gradual, as we get older. It's similar, for example, to changes in maybe eyesight or changes in physical strength or speed of motion. We do not believe, that is, those of us who work with people who develop diseases that affect cognition, do not believe that degenerative disease or diseases of the brain, things like dementia, are similar to normal aging. So we don't think of it as an inevitable consequence of aging, but it is true that as people age, they're much more likely to develop dementia. So the next question then is, how do you distinguish between changes in memory or concentration and dementia? So starting with memory, I think many of us are familiar with, for example, wondering where we left our car keys, where are the sunglasses. Or you're in the middle of recounting a movie you saw, and you're trying to remember the name of the actor, or even the name of the movie, but it will come to you later. I'm sure this is familiar. These kinds of occasional lapses are not signs of dementia. On the other hand, wholesale forgetting of what has happened recently. For example, you've been to a wedding, a relative's wedding, and and the next day you have no recollection of having been to the wedding, of whose wedding you went to, of what happened at the wedding. Now that we would consider to be very different from looking for your car keys. And it is that sort of thing that we would worry signifies dementia. Now, if a person is frequently repeating questions, if you find that you're frequently repeating questions, you get the information, you forget, you have to ask again, and that's happening very frequently, then it might be a sign that you should seek an evaluation. Now, in terms of concentration, there are other things. As you get older, your concentration is more vulnerable to things like sleep deprivation or to changes in your physical health. So if you've just been out of the hospital, if you've just had major surgery, it would not be unusual to have some trouble with concentration. Now that is different from not being able to finish a thought, consistently not being able to finish a thought, which would again be a more worrying sign. So as we get older, we are more vulnerable to the effects of sleep deprivation or cognition. We also have other kinds of changes in sleep that might affect your cognition.